All right. Cool. We're recording. So hello. Can we just introduce ourselves, I suppose, to start? You want to go first, Hannah?
Yeah, sure. I'm Hannah Kendall, and I'm a junior at Pacific.
Anyone else? Just hop right in.
Anyone else want to introduce themselves? Hi, I'm Quint Iverson. I'm a junior here as well at Pacific. I'm also the Boxer Radio chair and the digital editor here with the Index.
Hi, I'm Grace Perrine, and I am a freshman at Pacific, and next year I'm going to be co-editing Student Life with Brendan.
And I'm Brendan Swogger. I'm the student life editor at the Index, and I'm a junior at Pacific. So this is, we're all on the Index team, for one, and we've all had to kind of deal with the transition from, making physical papers to getting shut out and having to go digital completely and having to cope with that, in addition to just having to cope with classes too. So I just wanted to kind of talk about how our years went from the perspective of, different, I guess the three of us are juniors, and then Grace, you're a freshman. So 3 juniors and a freshman, I suppose, from the perspective. And just, I guess we'll start. How are finals going for you guys? How are we doing right now? How are we feeling?
Not well. Not well is how I'm feeling. I am behind in all of my classes.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the mentality that it's just whatever I end up producing is going to be what I produce, and I just got to be happy with it. I'm trying not to stress myself out so much because I usually have the tendency to do that.
Yeah.
So just trying to relax and tell myself, okay, give myself a break. It's quarantine season right now.
I kind of feel that because I usually hold myself to a pretty high standard, but I feel like I've sort of been thinking about what's going on in the world and just sort of thinking everything else is so much more serious in this paper. And I'm hoping that doesn't make me less, well, I'm just trying not to make it I'm trying not to let it make me less motivated. Mm-hmm. In that, part of me is there's some, it's Kim, there's people that are dying. Why should I, why should I be putting this much effort into this when I'm going to get a pass-fail grade anyways on most of these.
Yeah, it's such a delicate balance that you have to strike between putting your work into perspective, but also not losing that motivation and focus.
Yeah,
I've definitely had a hard time keeping myself motivated. I know Monday I was super productive, and yesterday I basically played Animal Crossing for 8 hours and then didn't start working on anything until after 5 p.m. So, it's kind of hard sometimes.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. I kind of, this is one of those few situations where my parents being separated is actually a little bit of a blessing. Because I'm able to have a space at my mom's place where I can use it as an office. And that's really helpful for me, I suppose. But it also means that I'll get home, and I don't know how y'all are about keeping off of social media right now, but it is really hard for me. I will just immediately get home and be like, all right, it's time for a Twitter-fueled existential crisis. Just immediately.
Yep.
It's so hard not to feel like everything is about to just completely fall apart all the time.
Mm-hmm. How are you feeling, Hannah? I feel like she's kind of lagged. Is she frozen for you guys?
Yeah.
Poor Hannah.
Well, it's a good transition into talking about online classes, huh?
Yeah, that is a good transition. How's Zoom going for everybody?
Oh my God. I'm lucky enough that I literally only have one class other than index that is on Zoom, and it's only in like groups of like 5 people for talking about poetry revisions. None of my other classes have Zoom. Like, it's just pretty much independent for the most part. So that's interesting.
I wish that were my case. Yeah, I have a lot of Zoom stuff. I had one this morning, and the problem is my internet's been so unstable that it just like what just happened to Hannah just now. That happens to me every single Zoom class I've done.
For folks who are audio only, she just left.
Yeah. All right. Well, Hannah's back.
Yes, I'm finally back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Perfect.
Okay,
Yeah, we were just talking about like how our year went and then what the biggest challenge was when everything shifted.
Yeah. So I think the biggest challenge for me, at least since the shift, has been technological problems. Just like my internet cuts out all the time. Like I was trying to have an interview with the VP of finance yesterday, and I could not understand anything he was saying because my like connection kept cutting out. So as far as like since the pandemic has happened, that has been a struggle. But I think the challenge for this year has been, I didn't mention this, but I'm the editor-in-chief for the Pacific Index. So I think that has been the biggest challenge for me so far this year, is taking on that role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how was the shift? We had to shift everything online. And I know Grace and I kind of talked about that in our piece, but we all had to deal with that in some way. And I'm sure you were at the front lines of that as editor-in-chief. How did that process come about?
Yeah, initially it was for me, and I also felt like I was like cheated out of the last couple like the print editions of the index, because I was really looking forward to improving my layout and those kinds of things, and I felt like I haven't gotten like closure with like the print editions almost. But at the same time, there's also been like a lot of benefits to moving online. Like I didn't know how to like upload stories, and I figured out how to do that, and just like figuring out that kind of shift has been a good move for the index to develop their like social media presence as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it kind of forced us to look at our digital, everything. I mean, we wouldn't be doing these podcasts, I don't think, if this didn't happen. All right. Well, being this is kind of an end of the year reflection, I think such a huge part of, the year ending is looking into the future too. And at this point in time, it's such an uncertain, big looming question mark. So I guess the question is like, where do we go from here? And also, where are you all going to be next year? Where are you thinking, where are we going to, what's that looking like for everybody?
I'll start because my story is wild.
Yeah.
So I mentioned that I was sucking the blood marrow, or the bone marrow out of the blood marrow. I don't even know what that is. The bone marrow out of this school at the end of my freshman year. And that translated into me sophomore year doing the math a bunch and declaring that I could do a double major, double minor. And I was on track for that. But I decided to pull back my academic stuff this year so that I could focus on this position and my position at the radio station. And it ended up making it so that I actually did not have time to graduate with financial aid. And so now my situation is that I have to take a semester abroad and a semester in the spring at Pacific, probably in that order, in order for me to graduate with the financial aid that I have left from the school. And study abroad just got canceled like 2 days ago for fall.
Yeah.
So I am just skipping over fall semester right now and hoping that I'm going to be able to go to Germany in the spring. And we're going to kind of just wait and see what happens and hope. I'm not sure how long this is going to delay my education or what that's going to mean for me in the meantime.
Yeah.
It's all kind of up in the air right now. It's
Yeah,
really scary.
I was thinking about you when I saw that that was canceled because I knew that was such a huge part of, your plan for the future. If this does extend into spring, do you think you'll be forced to just take a gap? I know that's
um,
scary to think about though.
yeah, I mean, my other option is to go to Pacific in the spring and take the class and
Yeah.
spend my last semester abroad, which feels really weird. And I don't
Yeah.
know if I'd entirely like to do that. Um, and my
Yeah.
other option is to I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to go in the spring and then take the class as a independent study next fall.
Mhm.
The reason I can't take it this coming fall is because the professor who's teaching it is going to be on sabbatical next fall.
Oh man, everything's just lining up for you, huh?
Jeez.
The universe is like, you need some time off, take some time off. And I'm like, okay, guess I won't do anything for a long time.
Yeah. What's your year looking like, Hannah? What's the future hold?
Oh, geez. Yeah, a lot of uncertainty as well, but with everything that's happening, I had planned, finishing my last 2 semesters at Pacific, but I realized I could graduate within 1 semester. So now next semester, I'm just going to be cramming a ton of credits into one, just trying to get my degree and get out, honestly, because I'm kind of worried about the job market. Don't know what that's going to look like, but, just trying to finish my
Yeah.
education right now. So that's the plan.
Yeah. And yeah, the uncertainty of the job market is definitely scary too, especially for people who are graduating. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot of effects like that are just this affects everything, and it's kind of
yeah.
frightening.
It is
Um,
frustrating.
yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna work over the summer and just try to save up and everything, and now I'm like, ooh, don't know I'm gonna do that. So yeah.
yeah. What about you, Grace?
Was also going to work during the summer and try to do like I don't know, 30 hours a week tops at a job so I could afford my spring semester next year, because this semester I had to take out like $7,000 in loans because Pacific told me the wrong thing, and I found out my school wasn't completely paid for. So that really sucked for a semester.
Private loans?
They're just through the school.
Oh, through the school.
So yeah. So whatever federal loans they had for me.
Mhm.
And luckily I'm technically at sophomore standing, so I was able to take out a little more than I would have been able to take out if I was a freshman. And I got a bunch of money back because I had to leave early, and I was able to contact some people, and I was like, hey, I can't afford to like have all this money be gone when I'm not attending and I'm not in my dorm or anything. I had to move out and stuff. And so I got actually more refunded than most normal people did. So I'm probably going to put a lot of that money towards spring semester next year. My fall semester should be completely covered, hopefully. I'm taking 16 credits. I'm also double majoring, so we'll see how that goes. But if we're not going to be on campus, I really hope that they bring tuition down, because I don't want to spend that much money to not have in-person classes and still be online. I don't think that's worth it. I would rather like either not go to school for the year or go to a different school for the year, but at the same time that would just mess everything up. So
Yeah,
That's been my concern as well. Like, I was thinking, there's no way I'm going to pay Pacific's tuition if it's online.
especially it's like, I mean, I kind of get it for like in-person stuff, but still it's pretty steep. But if it was online classes, and with the state of our online classes right now, it would be ridiculous. There's no point.
yeah. what's something positive you've gotten out of this year? Like, it doesn't even have to be related to, coronavirus or coping with that. Just what's something positive that happened that you're going to be taking away from this?
So, couple of things. I'll try to be quick. Firstly, I've mentioned the work-life balance before, but it really does maybe finally feel like I'm going to have time to get there, and I'm going to have time to think of myself a little bit more and really work on my own personal needs for the next year or so. And that's something that I really needed to have happen and didn't realize that it was something I really needed to have happen. From a different standpoint, I have taken a weirdly Isaac Newtonian standpoint to this quarantine and have slowly been pouring myself more and more into a short film that I'm working on that's kind of my final for animation, and the script ends up being somewhere like between 5 and 6 minutes long, which, oops, that's not going to get done this week, but we're trying our hardest. Today's the day that I'm casting it. I got like 50 auditions, and like I literally almost cried hearing someone's take for one of the characters today, just because they had gotten it so like spot on and exactly what I had heard in my head, and it was just like, It all just sort of like washed over me in that minute that this was like really a thing that was happening and really a thing that I might not be terrible at. And so that was something really nice that I was actually able to lean on a little bit.
That's awesome. Either of you.
Well, last semester I had a really hard time managing money, especially since at first I didn't realize I didn't have enough to pay for second semester, and I haven't really been good about it in the past, but the pandemic has kind of forced me to save money because I don't go anywhere or do anything, and I'm not paying for tuition. I'm paying less for my car insurance. I don't pay for gas. And the only things I'm getting are like things to keep me entertained, like art from artists I like and trying to support that kind of stuff. And then I'm also thinking about getting myself a digital camera for starting photography. As a little woo, I made it through a whole year of college, even though it was kind of a shit show at the end, present. So, that might help keep me entertained for the rest of the summer.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think one of the things that I've pulled on from this year is that I've experienced a lot of academic growth and mental growth, and that like knowing that I can get through this, I can endure this, I can find the strength within myself or my friends to like give what it takes to finish. So I think really more of endurance, I guess, is one of the good things that I've learned.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I feel like it's such a commonly said thing that junior year is always like the hardest. And I feel like even despite, literally the worst case scenario for our junior years here, I feel like we endured it. I feel like we made something of it. And I mean, I'm sort of halfway between like junior and freshman because I transferred. So this was technically my first year at Pacific. So that was kind of strange coming on to a new campus and finally adjusting and then being kicked off again. But also, I feel like even in the, short-ish amount of time, the semester and a half, I made so many connections and kind of found community to hold on to while I was going into this whole thing. So I feel like the community and the endurance is probably the biggest thing for me too.
Definitely learning to find the positives and the good things about life, even when, it feels like so much is going wrong. You have so many due dates and so much stress is piling up, I really had to learn to like look for all of the good things. It's definitely benefited like my life.
Yeah,